now we're going from photography to music, more specifically, the healing power it possesses. In her new book, Saved by a Song, author and musician Mary Gauthier shares why anyone and everyone should look into songwriting.
I think of music and songs as a giant umbrella, and there's so many different approaches to songwriting and so many different ways to love singers, songwriters, and music. Everybody's welcome and all are included. But for some of us, I think music can be far more than entertainment. And that's the little world that I live in. I think of music as song as song as a sort of a life jacket. And if I'm in the ocean and I need to grab onto something, I always turn to music and song to reinforce me. Yeah. And I became a songwriter later in life. And when I started writing my own songs, I realized, oh my gosh, I can connect this to purpose and have it become a far greater thing than just a job that I do. And so, you know, it's a long, long story, but I got sober, and then music and song became a huge part of my life. And then I started writing through the things that created addiction inside me in the first place in my music. And that brought forth more recovery in me. Yeah. And, you know, we're sitting here today, and I'm 31 years sober, and I know that music and song has been a huge part of what stabilized me.
Gosh, that's so great to hear. You say songwriting is a calling. What do you mean by that?
I mean that there's people who hear a whisper, and the whisper is asking them or inviting them to write songs. And an awful lot of people have been sold this lie that it should be left to professionals. You know, the music business is only about 80 years old. And so that's really, really new in the overarching view of music. This is a new idea that music and song should be left to professionals. Little kids write songs all the time. And over the last decade, I've been co-writing songs with women and men who've served in the military. And so that's sort of a segue into another discussion. I believe songwriters are called. We're asked by a little voice that we don't even know who it is knocking on the inside of our head saying, hey, you should write songs. Yeah. As you know, as I went through the decades as a songwriter, I started writing with women and men who've served. And the power of getting their stories into songs is really, really validating for me as a songwriter. And it tells me that answering the calling has ramifications far bigger than I could have ever imagined. Yes. And I think that's probably true for everyone who's called. If you answer the calling, it'll lead you to places you couldn't have imagined.
Mary, would we know some of the songs that you were mentioning just there?
Well, I wrote a record called Rifles and Rosary Beads. That co-wrote with women and men who've served and their families. That came out in 2018. It was nominated for a Grammy in the folk category.
That's amazing.
It is 11 songs that document, I think, kind of like the Civil War diaries, the story of some of those who served in the wars in the Middle East, Afghanistan, and Iraq over the last 20 years.
In your eyes, what makes a good song? And also, if you could have told someone, maybe your younger self, as you started out as a songwriter, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I think what makes a good song is debatable. Yeah. But for me, what I'm drawn to, hey, look, it's like any art. It's good if you like it. And you get to be the judge. Everyone gets to vote on what a good song is. And if you like it, it's a good song. For me, I like songs that help me feel or make me feel. I think songs are what feelings sound like. And so if it draws up emotion in me, I'm going to love it. Because I want to feel. I don't want to be checked out. Now, there's a whole school of thought that thinks that escapism is the way to go and that checking out is great and that it's the job of music to help us check out of the struggle of life and into something that's more fun maybe, or less difficult for 4.5 minutes or however long a song is. But there's no right or wrong in the discussion. There's just opinions, and really we draw to us what we need and what it is that our soul is asking for when we approach the arts.
Oh my goodness, songs are what feelings sound like. How great is that?